Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you may be watching this presentation from. My name is Billy, and I am going to take us through this presentation on environmental challenges and solutions. We all know that we have one Earth to take care of, that we were given to, and if we don't take care of our environment, then it will not take care of us. We are going to use Nairobi as a local case study for this case, but then we will be linking it to other global efforts. So in this presentation, we're going to look at climate change, pollution, and waste management, which are interconnected. We see that areas, urban areas like Nairobi, where I live, we experience a lot of issues more intensely because of sharp population growth. We see that, for instance, Nairobi has more than 2 million residents living here. And so this presentation is going to do a number of things. One, explain climate change impacts. Number two, examine air pollution in Nairobi. And number three, we're going to discuss waste management. And lastly, we are going to address myths and ozone protection. So what is climate change? Climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperature and weather patterns. The main driver of this change, according to Harris, is human activity, especially around fossil fuel, what we see on our roads, in our industries, etc., etc. So some of the effects of climate change include rising sea levels. We see heat waves, we see droughts, and we see floods, right? And we also see a sharp increase in greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, which are trapped in the atmosphere. Right. So, for example, in Nairobi, let us look at some of the things that go on here. So we experience irregular rainfall over the years, and this has led to floodings, flooding in areas like South C and South B, and parts of Parklands and Westlands. And when this happens, then it affects informal settlements, areas like Kibera slums and Mathare, where we experience increased heat stress, and we also experience water shortages during dry seasons, and this affects households and even businesses. And we also see wildlife being affected by water shortage. So all these impacts threaten food security and infrastructure directly, whereby when there's a drought, and then crops fail, so farmers don't do better, and this leads to food shortages. And when we have got floodings, and then we see key infrastructure like roads, bridges, and even some buildings have been reported to collapse due to heavy rainfall. Right, so let us look at solutions, both local and global. So we see that countries globally are reducing emissions under agreements like the Paris Agreement, and closer home here in Nairobi, we see an increase in electric buses, electric vehicles, and we also see a lot of adoption of solar solar energy solutions, both in homes and even in offices. And on a national level, we have a national tree planting day, and such initiatives where locals gather to plant trees in their rural areas, or even in their former primary schools. And this is something that the government has really had great support on, right? Then we see that individual actions actually matter, and when scaled collectively. So we need to come together as individuals to ensure that we plant more trees, we invest in solutions that don't dump harmful gases in our atmosphere. In industries where we work, we need to ensure that waste management is done reliably and safely. So, okay, let us look at air pollution. So, air pollution consists of harmful substances released into the atmosphere. Like I've said, we have industries and vehicles emitting harmful substances into the atmosphere, and we get to breathe these things, and we may get really affected. So in urban centers like here, the effects are very high because of traffic congestion, and we see that air pollution actually worsens climate change and public health problems. And so air pollution directly affects our health. We see a sharp increase in respiratory and cardiovascular diseases in hospitals around us. So let us look at the major air pollutants in Nairobi. So number one, this comes from vehicle exhaust, open waste burning, and construction dust. We see key developments, houses being built. The government is doing what we call the affordable housing scheme, and we see a lot of construction going on, and this just causes construction dust to go up the air, right? Then we see things like nitrogen oxide, um, nitrogen oxide being released into the air because of vehicular movement. Right, and so let's look at effects of air pollution, just expanding it more. So we see increased cases of diseases like asthma and bronchitis in hospitals around Nairobi, and even in other rural areas and other towns in Kenya, and even globally. We also experience reduced visibility and poor air quality alerts from government operatives. And then long-term exposure reduces life expectancy a lot. So if we're exposed to these harmful waste, harmful gases in the air, then yes, our bodies really degrade, and our health cannot sustain us a long time than what we used to experience before. And in this, we note that children and the elderly population are most affected because of their weak immune systems. Right, so let's look at waste management and sustainability. So poor waste management increases methane emissions from landfills. Methane is more potent than carbon dioxide in warming the planet. Sustainable management conserves resources and reduces pollution. Right. So EPA highlights waste reduction as a climate solution. Okay, so let's look at the local evaluation of waste management. So let me speak about a very famous dump site in Nairobi, which is the Dandora dump site, which is quite overloaded, and it poses great health risk to the locals, and to even coming the people coming from other places to come and just comb through the waste, maybe looking for valuables or things that can be recycled. Right. So we also see low levels of recycling. Most waste that is dumped um, um, or burned, right? So we don't really see high levels of recycling these kind of waste, because most of these waste cannot be recycled. We see plastic waste being dumped, and these just end up clogging drainage systems. And when heavy rainfalls come, then we experience a lot of flooding because drainage systems are clogged, right? So yeah, there are informal waste pickers in such places as Dandora dump site. These people play a key role, but then they need to be, in my view, they need to be supported by the local government to to take up the role formally, and just by building that partnership with the government, or either the national government or the local government, then it will be a better approach. So how do we improve waste management? So I think these are the things that we should do if we were to improve these. First, we need to introduce waste separation at household levels. At least we need to take care of the different kinds of waste um, from back at home, when we are dumping things that are biodegradable, and those that are not, we need to separate them. For instance, glasses should be separate, plastic separate, and food waste should also be separated. And then we need also to support recycling initiatives and circular economy, and circular economy business. Yeah, the government, or we need to get into groups that empower each other, so that we can look into ways to recycle this waste. Public education is very key in reducing single-use plastics and other waste materials. So we need to educate our public on waste management. And I also think that the government plays a huge role in this. So we need to have that government and community partnerships to improve these outcomes. Right. So what are some of the myths around climate change? I am going to talk about two of them that I found outstanding. And the first one was that animals and plants can adapt, but then science doesn't really think that. Global warming will actually cause mass extinction of species that cannot adapt on short time scales. And in my thinking, I think global warming, if it goes to the worst extremes, will actually wipe out um, the whole human and even plant life, and all species. I don't think, if we continue with the current trend, then I don't think there will be any life on the universe if we continue like this. Then the second myth is that it's not that bad, but science says that the negative impacts of global warming on agriculture, health, and environment far outweigh any positives. And this is clear from the trends that we currently experience: high temperatures, heat waves, flooding, and did I mention drought? Yes. If we continue like this, then we know the end. So let's look at some facts of the ozone layer protection. Climate change and ozone depletion are different but related issues. Okay, that's a fact. Then the second one is that the ozone layer protects life from harmful ultraviolet radiation. Okay, yes, that is a no-brainer. These cushions us from radiation from the sun and other planets out there. Okay, so just um, to conclude this presentation, we need to note that environmental challenges are real, and as much as they are local, they affect us also on a global scale, and the whole entire universe is at risk. Yes, so Nairobi, the issues that we experience in Nairobi and other towns in Kenya, Africa, and the world over affect us globally. Yeah, so the other point is sustainable choices by individuals, communities, and governments matter. So the small things, from how you throw maybe a banana peel outside the window, how you litter the towns and cities as you walk, from supermarkets, really matter, right? Small things that we do on a personal level go a long way into affecting us globally, right? We need to encourage audience to reduce waste, conserve energy, and stay informed. So up until there, thank you for taking time just to listen to this presentation. And here is a list of the references from which this presentation heavily borrowed. Thank you very much for your time, and all the best.